Hello. So this is a video I found on YouTube that says this MTV weight loss show was problematic. I think the name of the show was I Used to Be Fat.
She said she can't breathe. That she won't be able to talk if she couldn't breathe.
This show can only be described as The Biggest Loser, but for teens. What could go wrong?
Let's go. You've had a long enough break. It's time to get to it. Off the floor. Let's go. Don't make me ask you twice. Let's go. Marcy, if you don't get up out of that stall, I'm leaving and you can stay fat.
So the whole premise of this show was that these 17 to 18-year-old kids would be assigned a personal trainer and a nutritionist between the summer of high school and when they went off to college, and have the opportunity to transform their bodies and change their lives. That personally was like a recurring fantasy for me as an overweight/obese teen, and so when this show came out, I was literally obsessed with it. And it's really only now in retrospect that I can see just how problematic it was. This show was kind of the playbook for how not to lose weight, or how to do it in the most unhealthy way humanly possible. And I actually got in contact with the person we'll be discussing today, Marcy, and she told me just how problematic things were and how much worse they were behind the scenes. So if you stay tuned to the latter half of the video, I'll be talking about that a little bit then. Also, a big thank you to Noom for sponsoring this video, but more about that later. Meet Marcy. This episode follows the short, very short journey, as we'll see, of this 18-year-old girl, Marcy, who has been overweight her entire life.
I want to be skinny and healthy and not feel like I have to eat every 5 minutes just to feel like I'm somebody. I want to change so bad because I know that it would help me. It would change my whole life.
So I guess the issue with Marcy is she spends almost all of her time alone because she was actually pulled from school at a young age due to bullying about her weight.
I really don't have that many friends. I do everything by myself. It's kind of like food's my friend. Like, I know that this is going to make me fat, but this is going to make me feel so good.
When I knew I was going to do a video on this show, I was like, I have to do the Marcy episode, because I could relate to that girl so much, and her episode really stuck out in my mind because we were the same starting weight. We both didn't really have a lot of friends at that age, and at that age, I really relied on food to kind of entertain me and to be my friend. And I feel like this show did a really good job of picking a wide array of people with different backgrounds and stories so that you or whoever was watching could find someone that kind of represented you and had a similar story. Like if you had body image issues or you're overweight or you're obese, whatever your situation was, you could probably find something at least a little bit similar modeled throughout the characters on this show. A lot of these kids were using food to fill some sort of gap that existed in their lives. So what does MTV do to help these emotional young adults with maladaptive coping mechanisms? Meet Justin Bradshaw, the ex-military turned boot camp owner, come to whip Marcy into shape.
How you doing? Marcy, I'm Justin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm going to be your trainer this summer, helping you change your life. What are you doing in bed at 10:30?
I shouldn't be in bed.
That's why your lifestyle is the way it is right now. We're going to fix it now.
This very friendly and clearly staged interaction kind of sets the stage for the very aggressive style that will be used to help Marcy get healthy.
Wow, that's just way too aggressive. You want to meet her where she is, instead of trying to push her to take all these things at once. I mean, it's the same problem in the videos I shared about actual Biggest Loser.
Are you ready?
I am.
Let's go. Out of bed.
250. That's really, really bad.
What's your goal weight? What do you want to get down to?
160 would be a really, really good number.
That's 90 pounds.
I know.
That's a lot of weight. We have about 13 weeks to work that off. That's going to be about 7 pounds a week of weight loss.
Yeah.
That's no joke. It's not easy.
Okay, but you guys aren't going to make her lose 90 pounds in 13 weeks, right?
Basically, 89 days to change.
Yeah, because that's completely unhealthy. I mean, installing good... I want to see a version of this where they help people lose weight by helping them create habits.
Change your life. It's going to keep track of how many days you have left.
A pound a day, a deficit of 3,500 calories every single day. This was filmed around 2012, 2013, I think, which is less than 10 years ago. Surely we knew that it was inappropriate for teens to be losing a pound a day. Not to mention, who's the audience for the show, MTV? Obviously, it's a bunch of people with body image issues, people who are overweight, just young teens and adults in general, obese kids. People who've struggled with their weight are obviously the target audience for this content. And being on MTV, we're also going to have a bunch of kids who are just watching MTV when this comes on. I really can't believe that an entire boardroom full of people signed off on this and went, yep, teens losing a pound a day. Love that idea. Green light. Perfect. Let it go. I was so disturbed by the entire premise of this show that I was like, who made this? I need to know who's making this. And I looked it up, and of course, it was our friends, the sadists at The Biggest Loser. They strike again.
That makes a lot of sense.
As I'm sure we all know by now, though this is technically possible, it can cause a litany of complications and should not be attempted by anyone, anywhere. What kind of complications? Well, I'm glad you asked. Loss of lean body mass, hair loss, weight regain, heart complications, gallstones, binge eating, or other ED. And of course we know, even from some studies conducted on the Biggest Loser contestants themselves, a lot of these contestants sustained permanent metabolic damage that left them chronically hungry, susceptible to weight regain, and had them burning considerably less calories than it would be expected at their size. But as we'll see after this message from our sponsor, it just gets worse. This video is sponsored by Noom. Quite unlike, is not just a more gradual shift to a healthy lifestyle. Weight loss is not just a numbers game. Most weight loss efforts work in the short term, but fail in the long term. What makes the difference seems to be gradually changing your habits and improving your mindset over time so that you're genuinely changed as a person. And what makes Noom so great, in my opinion, is their daily psychology-based lessons that help you do just that. They give you insights into how our minds really work while teaching you about yourself, which I think is so important. Here's an example of one of my favorite lessons, which teaches you how to work on your bad habits by breaking the behavior chain. You'll learn that we're all surrounded by triggers, and triggers lead to thoughts, thoughts lead to actions, and of course, actions have consequences. The lessons are always interactive. This one asks you what your bad habit is, what thoughts you have, and what triggered that thought, creating your very own behavior chain. These are the type of insights into our behavior that produce lasting change. Going on TV is one way to make a big change, but Noom wants to help you approach weight loss differently by teaching you the behavioral skills you need to move toward healthy habits and away from bad ones. Noom takes a healthy, gradual approach to weight loss that helps you work on your mindset and yourself and how you feel, as opposed to what we see on TV.
Marcy, if you don't get up out of that stall, I'm leaving and you can stay fat.
The program will help you.
See, that's not what you need. If it says, you need support when you're going through this because it's difficult. It's easier to just give up, and I know that from experience.
Set good goals, work on your relationship with food, work on your relationship with yourself, and create new healthy habits around nutrition and exercise. If you're interested in trying out Noom, click the link in the description box to take your free 30-second quiz to get started.
I want this workout to be a reality check for her, and so this workout is going to be designed to show her how out of shape she really is right now. How unhealthy it is to be this overweight.
Like, what? What? I really do not know where to start with everything that he just said. It's just shocking to me.
I do this for a living. I know it's something. Let's go. Marcy, go. Start. 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's go. 30 seconds, then you're going to start again. No hands. Let's go. Keep it up. You can give me 1 minute. Let's go. Her attitude.
See, that's just a shock to the system. You can't go from doing no exercise to running a mile. Or even running a minute. Like, that seems like a lot of time. And so she should be able to, especially because she hasn't been, exercising, she should be able to set it at her pace because any movement helps. So, like, she did it for 30 seconds with the handles. Cool. Next time, try for 31 seconds. But don't do it all at once. And I can't really blame her for the attitude part, because, it's so easy to want to just give up on yourself. I think about it every day. I think about, why am I even trying? Now I can't even exercise hardcore because of my heart problems. And every single day, it's like, why am I doing this?
Thumbs down for today.
From my understanding, Marcy had never set foot in a gym prior to this day. And now this is her first experience working out.
I just need a break. I swear. I don't mind working out. I just need a break.
The very first thing this show did was take exercise and turn it into a punishment. A deserved punishment, actually, based on the language in the show, for Marcy being overweight. The likelihood that anyone would enjoy exercise after the duration of this show, with this kind of an introduction to it, is very, very low. Marcy is spending her days being forced into exercise where she's crying and puking.
I just need a break. I swear.
And with very little other reference for what exercise feels like, her brain is learning exercise equals crying and puking and crying, which could, unchecked, very easily lead to an aversion to exercise. Not only is this a negative for Marcy, but for everybody watching this show as well. I believe that there was a study a few years ago that said that after watching The Biggest Loser, and obviously shows like it, people's attitude toward exercise was a lot worse. People had a lot worse of a view of what exercise was supposed to look like. I know for me personally, I thought exercise didn't count. It wasn't doing anything for you unless it looked like that. Unless it looked like torture. And I know a lot of people feel like that. And the thing is, if we go back through our references for what exercise looks like, I mean, The Biggest Loser was a massive show on TV. And also gym class, where we're being told and forced to run laps, sometimes as a punishment. We have to do all these things that, maybe we hate or dislike, especially if you were like me and you were an overweight kid and it was a little bit more difficult for you to do the exercises. All of us have learned associations with exercise. Some people have good ones, some people have bad ones. Everybody has a little mix of both, I'm sure. But what these shows accomplished was that they taught people that this is what exercise looked like. Created a negative association between exercise and punishment. And that's not a great thing. And it's really no wonder that there's a huge portion of the population that's not interested in exercising. But of course, exercise, it doesn't have to look like that to count. And I mean, science would suggest that the best way to get yourself to stick to exercise, which is going to benefit you the most if you can do something for a longer period of time, is to do something that you actually enjoy for the long term. Do something that you want to keep going back to, as opposed to forcing yourself to do something to obtain a reward like weight loss.
222.6. Almost 29 pounds.
I really want her to see what losing weight is like. How hard you have to work to do it.
I don't really get what this guy's obsession is with showing Marcy how hard it will be to lose weight, but that is what the entire rest of the show consists of. We see Marcy constantly exhausted doing HIIT, boot camp drills day in and day out, while being told she sucks and is not putting in enough effort by Justin. And that's pretty much the extent of the weight loss journey that we see.
Marcy's progress so far is not where I want it to be.
Okay.
I don't think she grasps how serious this situation is and how difficult it's going to be for her to really lose this weight.
Well, I seem to think that she is motivated to. Do you not see it?
I think her motivation level is still not where it needs to be. Tell her to suck it up.
Just remember, kids, you're not motivated enough unless you make yourself puke from exercising. And also, it's not a real weight loss journey unless you lose 100 pounds in 3 months. Yet at MTV, you want people to see, for whatever reason, that it's going to be extremely difficult to lose weight. And the message from this show, and of course The Biggest Loser as well, that losing weight or transforming at all is this intense process where you give it all you have for a short period of time, you go balls to the wall, you drop all the bad food, you exercise 24/7, you transform seemingly overnight. And thanks to shows like these, and even social media, where the most popular transformations are the very quick and very dramatic ones, this is probably the most common model of a successful weight loss journey we see represented in the media and online. And then this becomes the benchmark that people either consciously or subconsciously gauge themselves against.
You want to stay like that?
Except that, as we've already discussed, it's incredibly unhealthy and unlikely to lead to permanent weight loss. Which is, of course, the issue with weight loss. Many people can lose weight in the short term, very, very few can lose it in the long term. And when I spoke to Marcy, she told me it was even worse than it was portrayed on TV. They said we were monitored by doctors. We weren't. My trainer had me eating 2 protein shakes and 1 protein bar a day during the show, even though they showed me cooking healthy, which was BS. I was in the gym 4 to 6 hours a day, only taking in 500 calories. They didn't show us how to keep up in the real world with diet. I totally didn't expect her to message me back, so when she did, I was like so unprepared. She messaged me like instantly. I was like, I don't know what to say. But you can see that she said in there that there was nothing to do with healthy eating. In the show, they didn't even show it at all. There wasn't even enough for me to talk about in this video, because it was literally like a 30-second clip.
This is good, Mars. You like it?
It's very good.
The spinach is good.
The behind-the-scenes account that Marcy gave and that we've heard from people on The Biggest Loser, if you follow that at all, it really shows how sketchy these shows are and how they pretend to be about helping people get healthy, but they really have no interest in that whatsoever. The shows model this completely unhealthy, unrealistic, 3-month transformation that's dangerous. They put these people through a dangerous situation, these young people in this instance. At least with The Biggest Loser, these people are older and, they're fuller adults. I know an 18-year-old is an adult, but they're still a very young person. And I don't know, something really pisses me off about preying on young people who are not old enough to like fully understand the magnitude of their choices in this situation. I'm on a tangent, but it really makes me mad. And the travesty of these shows is really twofold. You have the poor contestants who go through this show eating 500 calories a day, being told it's for their health, meanwhile it's incredibly unhealthy. And then you have the people watching this show being negatively impacted by everything that's going on there, and then modeling their weight loss journey off of what they see on TV. I can't tell you how many times in my life I've personally tried to lose weight like that. Tried to lose weight by eating nothing or by exercising a lot. Not that I got too many days into the exercising a lot thing, but I still tried. And I thought that if I wasn't doing it that way, then I wasn't going to lose weight. When in reality, a weight loss journey looks pretty much the exact opposite of that. And now we have lots of data to support that conclusion, that it's a more slow reformation of habits and mindset over time, as opposed to what we see on these TV shows, which clearly give no fucks about the health of the people that are on there or are watching it and are really just trying to make a quick buck.
Today's my final weigh-in. This is the moment of truth. It's to see if all the hard work that I put in the summer, all the dieting, all the exercising, working out every day, putting up with Justin like I have.
Marcy did go on to lose 90 pounds in 89 days. And regardless of the unhealthy and or unethical method used to get her there, it's still inspiring to see someone reach their goals and transform themselves. Testing yourself and pushing your limits is one of the best parts of a weight loss journey. But there are healthy ways and unhealthy ways to do so.